University of Southern California communications professor Stacy Smith, who researches depictions of gender and race in film and TV, found that of the 5,839 characters in the 129 top-grossing films released between 2006 and 2011, fewer than 30% were girls or women. Meanwhile, only 50% of films fulfill the criteria of the Bechdel test, which asks whether a film features at least two women who talk to each other about something other than a man. Despite the uphill climb for women in film, it isn't all doom and gloom. Horror is one genre where women are taking on increasingly prominent parts. Yes, screaming is still a staple feature of a scary flick. But women are assuming central roles not as victims but as monsters and heroes. Each year, the Gina Davis Institute on Gender and Media publishes research that shows how gender imbalances in the film affect women and girls. For example, they've found that positive and prominent roles for women in movies motivate women to be more ambitious, professionally and personally. But when there is a dearth of women being depicted positively, it has an opposite, negative effect. A study by Google and the Gina Davis Institute studied this phenomenon across genres. They developed something called the GDIQ, Gina Davis Inclusion Quotient, facilitated by machine learning technology. The goal was to recognize patterns in gender, screen time, and speaking time that the casual movie viewer might overlook. The results of this study tell a familiar story. In the film, men are seen and heard twice as often as women. In a way, this makes sense. A Guardian article describes how women have historically been drawn to the genre. Many beloved horror films have strong female leads: Carrie, The Descent, and The Witch, to name a few. Horror, of course, has always been interested in women. Traditionally, women and girls are victims of crazed killers or monsters. They scream a lot, yet the terms have changed along with the times, and a horror renaissance seems to have been taking place over the past decade. The genre has moved from taking pleasure in victimizing women to focusing on women as survivors and protagonists. It's veered away from slashers and torture porn to more substantive, nuanced films that comment on social issues and possess an aesthetic vision.